Greetings, citizens! My name is FailureToReport, and it's happening. Back from the dead. I said many months ago I probably wasn't going to be active until the Hercules Starlifter went live, and when she finally did, I just wasn't in the mood. Star Citizen has been really stagnating over the last 2 years thanks to Squadron 42 taking front and center focus, and as a result, there just isn't really anything to pull me in or inspire me to talk about the game. Despite the insane rumors, making Star Citizen videos hardly pays for my limited edition Star Kit and Porsche. Well, I woke up this morning getting ready to set up some servers for the upcoming Arc Genesis DLC around the corner when some people in the Discord started linking a post by Morphologis. It seemed he was making a community page post defending something about his review of the Hercules, and members of his community saying he was wrong about something. Now, from the get-go, I want to be clear. I generally like Morph. His architect reviews videos are one of the more enjoyable things coming out of Star Citizen content creators to me. And while I don't share his bottomless optimism for Star Citizen, I feel like the two of us generally get along well enough. So this video isn't a personal beef or drama vid, and I want to be clear on that from the get-go. I'd like to think that our tolerance of each other goes to show two people on polar opposite sides of a fandom, project, topic, whatever you would consider Star Citizen, can actually get along and mostly coexist. That said, reading his comment that was posted on Discord, I pretty much knew right away what he was going to say in his review, but I decided to give it a watch despite kind of isolating myself from Star Citizen and all game-related news as a sort of a don't go insane vacation from Star Citizen. And sure enough, Morph talks about the troop transport seats in the Hercules M2 being positioned above the cargo deck with a small ladder leading down into the main deck, making it a terrible design for a dropship. Now, it seems a good few members of his community, or maybe just casual visiting viewers, took this as an opportunity to correct the design guru, explaining to him that his critique of CIG's design isn't right, to which Morph posted the original comment that was linked in my Discord, as well as a further follow-up comment later on doubling down that the Hercules M2 is a dropship. Well, in today's video, I'm going to try to explain as briefly as possible why Morph is wrong. So, for all my dirty Chairforce loadmasters who deployed to Morph's comment page, don't worry, I got your back, battle buddy. First, I want to give a quick background, as I'm sure at some point, Morph probably did the same before everyone ended up knowing him as the Architect Guy. Most of you on the channel probably don't know a lot about my personal life, as I've only talked about it a few times on stream. I joined the Army back in 2006 as an 11 Bravo infantryman. Upon arriving at my first duty station, all us new scrubs got gathered up for processing, and the dude rounding us up went, "Before we process you to the companies, who wants to go try out for scouts and go be a ranger sniper and kill people?" And like an idiot, I raised my hand. As a result of this, I was selected to join our battalion's infantry scout platoon. Our job isn't like normal infantry. We do all the cool guy shit the recruiters lie to you and tell you that you would do. We are treated better than normal, we get better gear. Like, I was a brand spanking new E2 private, and other NCOs in my battalion couldn't even say anything to me if I was doing some stupid shit. They had to take me to my own platoon and hope my NCO sided with them and didn't just tell them to go fuck off. During my time in the Army, I've done it all. I've taken the long rides into the sandbox and the C-130 jump seats against the wall, the troop transport deck strap cramped airline seating of the C-17 Globemaster. I've ridden on the wall jump seats of the CH-47 Chinooks with gear and rucksack stacked up so you could barely see the guy across the way. I've ridden in Blackhawks, both in the doors and in seats. Literally, the only platform used by the Air Force of the Army for troop-related missions I haven't done time on was the MH-6 Cayuse, or as Hollywood has renamed it, the Little Bird. So, with that context out of the way, let me get back to the point of the video. Morphologis, you should stop doubling down, because you're wrong. Before I get too far into it though, I need to highlight the criticism Morph makes about the M2 Hercules that is causing him to keep insisting CIG goofed.
Architects and designers design spaces they consider what program is best suited to be next to another, or what the proper adjacency should be. In the case of these drop seats, it's clear that they're meant to be used while dropping into the LZ, because if you think about it, in what scenario would the Marines ever come aboard without their armor or their weapons already equipped, as there's no place for them to stay long term. They'd likely only be on board for that very quick deployment from a forward operating base to the LZ.
First and foremost, let's talk about what the Hercules Starlifter was influenced from. CIG has a pretty established history of taking something else from either fiction or real life and putting the crisp sprinkles all over it, and if you aren't in the know, the Hercules Starlifter is heavily inspired by the C-130, C-17, and C-5 airframes. Now right from the start, the C-5 Galaxy, which is the Air Force's heavy equipment transport platform, which heavily resembles the M2 Hercules, has a long front and rear loading cargo tube running through the length of the airframe as its bottom deck. And just like our Hercules, the C-5 also has an upper deck, which has seating for I believe somewhere around 70 soldiers. That's a lot of personnel, right? I mean, technically that's like 2 platoons of infantry. So the Galaxy must be a dropship, right? No. Morph in his video suggests that because the jump seats exist in the Hercules, it's made to take soldiers from a forward operating base to an LZ, but that's just simply not how these type of craft are used in real life. The Hercules, like its real-world counterpart the Galaxy or C-17 Globemaster, are there to lift equipment to forward areas when either the distance is too great for other delivery methods or expediency is vital. You will never see a Galaxy landing at an active landing zone to offload tanks while a bunch of grunts run out the doors, guns blazing. Never. The Hercules is first and foremost a heavy equipment transport. Those jump seats are there in-game to transport crew for whatever is in the belly hold for the day when traveling across the verse is more than just a 5-minute trivial quantum jump. I'm going to further drive this point home by using the images Morph has put forward to prove his point. These pictures from CIG's marketing are what Morph asserts makes the Hercules a dropship. You can see a Hercules landing while firing. Nowhere is the ship dropping out troops in the image. The next post he uses to prove his point is a screen grab from the Hercules commercial. And really quick, I'll show you the relevant portion that this is grabbed from for, context sake.
We know that lifting up others benefits us all.
In this portion of the commercial, the only thing coming out of the M2s in this scene are Nova tanks. Yes, there are troops on the ground coming from off-screen left, where there are also Connex containers and other forward base objects. None of this means that they were troops inside of the Hercules. It's absolutely framed as a staging area with the battlefield out in the distance camera right. The fact is, as others with real-life experience on the inspirational source airframes have commented in his video, and as I'm stating as someone who would be the meatbag getting dropped into the combat scenario, we don't use these kind of airframes for that kind of job. We would use an actual troop-focused transport or dropship. The Valkyrie is 100% dead on the bullseye what a troop dropship would look like in the Star Citizen verse, minus the absolutely stupid doors and a separate area away from the exit ramps. But hey, CIG was still kind of starting to find its footing with ship design back then, so we'll give them a break. I'd go into further detail on troop transports in real life and Star Citizen and how they correlate, but I feel like I kind of beat that horse's ass to death in the Valkyrie review video, so I'll link that if you're bored or you're trying to kill some time while you poop. The point here is, Morph, you're wrong, and you're dying on the most absurd hill. You might have a bunch of your community backpatting you and saying,
"Yeah, it's obviously meant to be what you said."
But they're just as wrong, and people clinging to a sinking ship while insisting it isn't sinkable are still just clinging to a sinking ship. Even if it's the entire passenger list, they're still just as wrong, and that only means that there's more bodies floating around later for someone to go, why didn't they just accept that it was sinking? Now again, this video isn't meant to throw shade at Morph. I'm sure he's a really smart architect. I feel like his videos on ships like the 600 and 890 Jump and some of the other ships back this up. However, I think when he applies his personal lens to combat focus things, it doesn't translate one-to-one. In the military, everything is task and purpose. Assets are designed and chosen around task and purpose, the right tool for the right job. Or at least until you give them to guys like us and we decide to use an anti-material weapon to splatter some guy on the side of the road. But the people in charge, task and purpose. So, with the things I've covered in this video, I hope you can stop fighting on that hill, Morph. It's not worth dying for. I still love your takes on Star Citizen ships, and overall I think the Herc vid was pretty dead on. You just chose a really silly thing to dig in on, and decided to double down for some reason. For the rest of you normies watching this, I hope you enjoyed. I'll probably motivate myself to do a real Hercules review at some point in the future. If the boredom of Star Citizen doesn't fade in the near future, I will abso-fucking-lutely do a video on the Hercules A2. I fucking love me some Spectre gunship, so when that drops, I promise my hiatus will end. With that, Thank you for watching, Citizen. I know I've been absent a lot this year, but if CIG's roadmap doesn't crumble to pieces for 2021, that should be ending this year. If it does fall apart, well, thank you for hanging around this far, and if you decide to ride it out with me, I definitely appreciate it. As always, stay safe out there, and I will see you next time, Citizen.